The timer for the spaghetti, and there's no meatballs in this fucker. Yeah, bloody hell. It is rather humid by UK standards. Even though it's a bit overcast, it seems to hold in all the heat and humidity. But it's been a long weekend for me. I had Friday off and I spent it in Norwich going around hospital appointments for the wife, and I'm back home. So I've only had Saturday to do any work on the panel, and Sunday's christening for my niece, so we've just got back from that. Got changed into the old togs and back out here again to continue with the brew build. We've got the panel in, all fixed and secured. I think I've got everything there. We'll swing you around and bring you up with a little update. So all the back panel or bottom panel is now drilled and everything's fitted for its last time. We've got the armoured cable input gland, 2/8 for the pumps, the XLR connectors for the temperature senders, and I'll tell you 2 outputs for the kettles. Inside we've got a new piece of DIN rail. We've got the 80 amp double pole relay. We've done the first bit of wiring to go to the live and neutral buses. Cleaned up the big contactors and mounted them as well. Stripped and cleaned that off. They're mounted with heatsink paste on them on the aluminium plate, so that should act as an extra little bit of heat sinkage. We've got a temporary live and neutral supply going to the PIDs because I've just been playing with them. They've sort of held me up because they were reading strange things and doing strange things, even though they were set for PT100s. But we found out it was a configuration of wiring to the probes, because there's same sort of things but they're using different cables, cause a little bit of confusion. And we've stripped all the tape off the front panel and everything's in for its final fixed positions. All the PID switches, the volt and amp meter up the top there. So we are basically now starting to get a jiggy on with the wiring, hence at the start of all the spaghetti. So I'm sort of working on each individual rack of components, I suppose. So we're doing the live and neutral feeds to the PIDs and timers first, and obviously looping up all the alarm switches, which go daisy chain fashion and then off each programmer and then round to the beeper. So yeah, hopefully we might have lights by the end of next week, given the time I've got to mess around in the evenings on it. So we're progressing at a hindered rate, but we'll get there. We've still got the kettles and everything to do, so as you know from last week's video, jobs are stacking up, so this is sort of an easy in the evening play around. I've got to get the soldering iron out as well and do a few hard wiring connections to the XLRs and such like. I did have the little blocks turn up which attach to the DIN rail, and then you can mount a little board on them. If anyone's thinking of using DIN rail, you can buy these little 2-part components. They just mount on the rail and they've got a little plate, or you can make a plate up to screw them to, and then put your component on the top, which I was going to use the I'm still going to keep them even though I've changed these other ones, in case I ever need to replace back to these. I can mount them on the DIN rail via these little plastic mounts. They're cheap as chips, they were like 99p from China. Got another, where is it? I bought a 1/2-inch end cap to go on, because the idea is when I get to the kettle stage, let's just use this for an example, that your thread will protrude through the keg or your kettle, for your recirc, or your, not your recirculation, your whirlpool down in the bottom of the kettle. Screw that on, which obviously would blank off. Cut with an angle grinder down the cap to create a slot. Now I'm going to have to go a little bit in and then try it, so obviously we don't end up with a fan pattern spraying out like that. But I basically pinched the idea from SS Brewtech, who sell something that looks no more than a nut drilled out with a slot cut in it. So to take an idea from that, which I think the nut is £9.50 from Malt Miller, use one of these, fix it to the end of your outlet inside, cut a slot in it. Might have to play it by ear, but this was £1, I think, or £1.50, something like that, as opposed to £9.50. Because I was going to buy the little dip tube with the bend in it, but even they are a bit pricey for what they are. It's exactly the same as the Blickman one. Lord knows what the Blickman one is, but even the one from China is quite expensive for some reason. So this is the Norfolk Hillbilly solution. It may or may not work. If not, we'll just use a bush and a bit of copper tubing. But we got that as well, just to trial it when we get to the stage of pushing wort round. So we'll try it with water and just sort of play it by ear as an experiment. So that's pretty much it really this week. We haven't gained a whole lot else. Got a couple of bar stools that I've got one put together so far, which I'm going to put one in here once I've done all this, so I don't mess it up. And put the old one here back in the brew shed, so when I can get into it, because as you know, I've still got to figure out where the hell I'm going to put all my other stuff while I change rooms around. But that's going to be another story. Anyway, I wish you all well. Short and sweet one this week. Less a waffle on, which you don't want that really, do you? So we'll say hasta la vista, baby. Catch you next week, cock.